Hello, my name is Trydar. Today I'm going to be showing you how to build a Cyclops Submarine from Subnautica in Minecraft with an interior. Let's get started. Now, several years ago I did a tutorial of sorts for the Cyclops, but it didn't have an interior then, but it does today. So you know what this thing looked like on the outside, but take a peek through the glass. We have a bridge interior and a whole bunch more to take a look at. So let's take a little tour. I've added a couple of things to the design here. First off, I've added a hatch here in the top of the conning tower because I assume that if we want to build this above water just a little bit to be slightly surfaced, we would like a way to land on the conning tower with our elytra and enter our submarine. So that's why I've added one here. I have put this one directly above the hatch that, of course, would go down to our sea moth. Of course, we have one sea moth docked down there in the cargo bay. You could get a prawn suit down there too, probably. But in here, we have a couple of places if you want to store some things. I've made some alcoves and niches for a couple of chests here. So you can store just a couple of things in your sub. Of course, we have a control panel here. Doesn't do anything. You just have to, just have to pretend. Let's go forward, though, for a bit. So in our next compartment, we of course have our beds where we can relax, some tables and chairs, some, tables off to the side here. And I haven't installed it, so I'm gonna have to break these, but I have left enough space in the bulkhead here, 3 blocks wide, for you to be able to install a piston door in this spot here if you want to. Now, I'm terrible at redstone, so I haven't included these. But I think some of you should be able to make those work. And for that, you'll just need, 2 blocks of yellow concrete and some pistons and probably a lever somewhere to make it work, or a pressure plate or something. But I will leave that up to you. Let's take a look around the bridge. So here we can see that we go to the forward here. Of course, we have where we would be standing to drive our sub, but that's kind of tiring. So I've added a little chair with some stairs here, but of course we have some controls that also don't do anything because it's Minecraft. But you have to pretend, but wherever you build this, you might want to, make it face out to a nice coral reef or something. So something that gives you something interesting to look at. And back here we have some other consoles, with different controls also that don't do anything. But we have some displays and things as well. I've just mirrored these on both sides of the sub to make it symmetrical, even though the Cyclops itself only really has one of these consoles over there. But, I've added a couple more just, to make things look a little bit more interesting. So let's go below here for the moment. So down here we have actual lockers in our locker storage chamber. I don't think we had actual lockers in the Cyclops. There was a suggestion of some lockers, but I don't know if they actually did anything. I don't remember being able to put anything in them. But I've added a generous amount of space down here for you to fit quite a few chests. There's even more space if you wanted to fit another layer of chests up there. I think you could do that. And we also have a glass floor. So it's a split level design. So if we continue down, we can see that we do have some more space down here if you wanted to put some additional chests or shulkers or whatever, or even barrels. You can do that down here. Of course, down here we have our main entrance to our Cyclops that you're all familiar with. But because we're sitting on the ground, it doesn't go anywhere at the moment. But that's your water entrance, and this is of course the ladder that'll take you up to the bridge deck. But if we continue aft and break another door here, another 3 block wide thing here for you to put another door. We are at the bottom of the cargo bay, and we can see our sea moth right there. We can walk along our little catwalk here below our sea moth, break another door, and then we come into the aft chamber here. We've got a couple of machinery and various pipes and things back here for mechanical stuff. And then if we continue upwards, we can see that we have in the slanted section at the back, there's not much room to put much of anything, so we just have some suggestions of some pipes and ducts and things for various things. But we do have some stairs, well, a ladder at the back here, which of course brings us to the engineering bay. And we can see back here we come up just below the propeller shaft. And of course here we have our propeller motor and the main power plant for the Cyclops. I've even tried to integrate the 3 hoppers here on either side for the power cells. Of course here we have an engineering display to monitor the equipment and everything. But if we come back into the cargo bay, we can see that in here we have what would I assume what would be the main power core right there. And I'll show you later, but this is designed to, there's a little space back there for you to put an end crystal in, so you can kind of see it, you know, going up and down like so. And that'll give you the suggestion that your engine is actually doing something. In fact, let's not just talk about that. What's that thing called? An end crystal, and I need some orange concrete to fix it. So if we want to put one of those there, and what I can't seem to... Well, I thought we could place blocks. Okay, we are going to do this the old-fashioned way. Where's a piston? This is why I don't do redstone. I'm terrible at it. Let's see. Redstone torch. There we go. Problem solved. So as you can see, after you shove that in there, we can see that we have, you know, our power core is now operational. Very explosive. That's why we've got the entire thing contained in the little shell in there. But if we want to, of course, exit our sub, we can. You can also break this block here if you want to go down into your sea moth, but fall down into your sea moth. But on the way out, of course, I added a conning tower up here because we had some space, so I put in just a couple of windows so you can see out above the surface of the water. Maybe you've got a nice little island somewhere you parked your sub behind that you want to look out at. But aside from the hatch there and the windows, everything else is pretty much standard. For the Cyclops, I've just added a few concessions to, you know, to make things more fun in Minecraft. So now if you want to build one, of course, you want to build it below water because, you know, submarine. So the depth for this is going to be 24 blocks all the way to the bottom of the keel. Right here, that's 24 blocks all the way from the very surface block of the water, right here, 24 blocks of depth. And then you'll need however many blocks this is above that. What, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 blocks above the water line, it looks like. And of course your water line is just right here at the line of yellow concrete. Just right there. And that's all there is to talk about there for the tour and everything. Of course, this is available for download in the video description for both Java and Bedrock versions, if all you're here for is to download. But if you want to use the video and everything, we, of course, have the phases of the tutorial to go through. Everything's sliced up in 1 block slices like it always is. And for this one, to make things more clear, I have replaced the white concrete here with these blocks right here, because when we're looking at them, they are extremely easy to count. And if we put, you know, if we start putting down white concrete, I mean, the texture is very smooth, so who knows how many blocks that is. So to save myself from doing all the counting for those, I've just replaced all those. But here, of course, whenever you see one of these blocks, you actually want to place down your white concrete instead. All right. Just want to get that out of the way. So you want to start, of course, 24 blocks down somewhere. And then it doesn't really matter as far as the bounding box for this goes, because that's going to be all water. So we can just start with 3 blocks here. So it's 3 blocks of white concrete. Here we have, of course, the hatch to get into the Cyclops underneath the nose. Just like so. And then we have 6 blocks of white concrete. And then, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 blocks, 3 by 5 cyan terracotta. and then however many blocks that is of white concrete. And then a band of cyan terracotta, 3 blocks wide, and then cyan terracotta down the middle, and white concrete down the sides for however many blocks that is. And then, what's that, 3x4 white concrete, and then 2x3 cyan terracotta, band of yellow concrete, 2x3 cyan terracotta, and 2 more blocks of white concrete. And here, you can shift over and go for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 blocks on either side to form the bottom of what I assume are some sort of thrust pontoons. So some little nacelles that we have at the bottom of the Cyclops. I've always assumed these 4 were for thrust vectoring to make the sub, because it doesn't have any bow planes that I've seen on the sub, so it's got to have some way to, to thrust the water around. I assume that's how it does it. And here, of course, we have just a very simple design for those. And of course, it's symmetrical on both sides, so you want to do 6 blocks again, place your yellow concrete, and build another thruster pontoon. Just like so, and that is your first phase. So the first one's always the hardest. So the next phase, of course, we're building just right on top of that. So we want to, for this one, I've only done the current phase that we're on as these blocks here. Everything else reverts to the white concrete instead to help you. So on top of that, we can see we're just extending the yellow concrete up for the entrance hatch. And then you can see the design here for the front of the keel. It's like so. And then if you don't want to use the obsidian on this, you of course welcome to use, well, just any other dark block you want to. Black concrete perhaps, if you want to. I like the obsidian just because it has a texture. It's a bit more contrasty with the concrete and the terracotta, I think. All right, moving on back along the keel. We're just going to slide over this. There's not really too much for me to say. So here now, of course, we have the catwalk for the cargo bay, you remember. We got a couple of lights in that. And here we have the back of our sub. Like so. And then we have, of course, our thruster nacelles. Right here. Now for this, everywhere there was blue glass, I have chosen the blue wool block here. I know it's the tube coral. That's just a texture pack thing because I like this better than the wool texture. And you never get to see this outside of the water, so you know. But anyway, every place you see these blue wool blocks like this, what you actually want to be placing is the light blue stained glass right here. But because, you know, with the shaders and everything, even without the shaders, this is kind of hard to see. Especially, you know. So I've opted to change all these blue blocks, or rather change all the glass to these more high contrast blocks, just like I did for the white concrete here. With those. So there's the design for that, and then they just connect straight with the back of the sub, like so. All right. Next phase. Lots of chickens and cows around here today. Maybe they want to build a sub. So over here, just follow the ladder up right here for the placement of your cyan terracotta. And then we'll use that as the jumping off point for level 3 here. For the bottom keel of our sub. And then this here is going to be 1, 2, 3, 5. I'll try and count out some of the cyan terracotta as we go, if I think it's going to be confusing. Even though the majority of the sub is made up of the white concrete blocks. Now you can see now back in here where I said that I left space if you wanted to add in a piston door or something. Like, still got the piston on me, so... can just demonstrate that here. I mean, it had to be a sticky piston. But you can see that, well, actually, I suppose you would want it to be back there, probably. And I'm not real sure how you're going to be able to make that work, because I don't know redstone well enough. But I've tried to leave you enough space to at least make an attempt at it. There ought to be some designs out there for really small 1x2 doors by now. Here we are at the cargo bay for our sea moth. Just extending that up on the sides. Here we are again for the back machinery chambers that we walked through on the tour. Like so. And we just have a little bit more over here for the nacelle pontoons, for the nacelle thrusters to finish those off. Like so on both sides. And that's all there is for that phase. So, continuing on with the next one, we'll start here above our ladder. We've got a block of glass there in front of that. And then you can see the numbering for the white concrete. And then we just have the cyan terracotta for the bulkheads. And then extending back here for our sea moth cargo bay. I guess it's just a general purpose cargo bay. If you did have something other than a prawn suit and a sea moth that could fit in here, I don't see why you couldn't put one in here. You might could even put an escape pod in there too. I think it might be big enough. You know, just in case your Cyclops sank or something. But I'm sure that won't happen. Alright, the detailing there at the back. And so, like I said, we're finished with our thruster nacelles, so we're just going to go on to the next phase here. So here we are at our little entrance chamber. And the lowermost section of the cargo storage lockers. Like I said, I left enough space if you want to add some shulkers or something else down there. You can do that. I'm not sure how much space you're going to need. If you're going to make it your primary base, you need a lot of storage space, so I tried to be generous. Here we are for the cargo bay for the sea moth. And the machinery sections at the back. All right, next phase here, going right up here with our glass. And you can see here for lighting, I like to use two end rods pointing at each other, just straight across there. It makes a nice feel to it, I think. And you can see we also have some individual panes of glass on the edges there. Just for effect, really. Detailing for the cargo bay. And the machinery space. And then the catwalk at the back. All right, next phase here. Just going straight up right here for the moment. Right there. And then, of course, where all the blue wool, tube coral wool is, that's where we want to put the light blue stained glass, full blocks of glass. I didn't change the panes to anything. I just changed the full blocks to that. Just to make it easier for you to see. Detailing for the cargo bay. The machinery space. And the catwalk at the back. Let's see, we're done with that piston. Let's put that away. All right, next phase here. Where's a good place to start? So you already built this cross of yellow concrete. So right on top of that, I missed it. Right on top of that, we'll start here with 2 more blocks. Of course, we have our ladder on only one side. I believe it's on the left side in the Cyclops, if memory serves. So that's where it is here. Well, no. I mean, it's on the right side if I'm looking... Like, if you come in from this way from the hatch, I'm pretty sure it's on the left side. Well, I mean, it can only be on one side in Minecraft anyway, so whichever side you want. So the detailing here, you can see how the chests, they fit in just within one block of the hole there. And I've put a couple of furnaces and a crafting table down there. You can put other things down there if you don't want that. I think I just left that off the materials list. Or however you want to decorate it. I also put an ender chest down here too. I didn't know where else to stick that, but if you have a better place, you can put it there. Maybe where the crafting table is or something. We're also building a sea moth in our cargo bay, as you can see right here. So you're getting 2 tutorials for the price of 1. You're getting a Cyclops and a sea moth. But if you want to have that empty or put a prawn suit down there or something, you'll have to figure that out yourself. So the detail for the machinery space. And then here for the walkway. A little catwalk that goes up to the engineering compartment. Alright, back here again. Everything is pretty much going straight up for the chest and everything. Well, let's just take a glide over that. And more detailing here for our sea moth. Let me just throw down some torches to help you count that. Of course, the sea moth is just wide enough to be able to fit inside of the storage compartment and have the doors closed. A couple of end rods going straight across there for a suggestion of some piping for the machinery space. You know, machinery spaces need to have lots of piping for various things. And then the catwalk at the back. All right, next phase here. Just stacking our chest straight up. And then here is the detail for the sea moth. Just a few suggestions of controls and everything. You could put a chair or something else down there if you want to. I don't remember how I did the original sea moth. That's been several years ago. So here we have a couple more end rods going straight across there, not only for piping, but also just for lighting. We don't have creepers spawning in our sub. That would for sure make a big hull breach. Flood the whole thing. So here, detailing for the catwalk at the back. All right. Here again, starting at, of course, the bow section. And sliding back towards the stern. More detailing here for sea moth. A couple of big yellow pipes. I'm sure they serve some sort of critical function. Then detailing for the catwalk and the rest of the stern behind that. And for the rest of the stern, we want to go out quite a ways, a distance, for however many blocks that is. And then add, 1, 2, 3, 6 blocks of cyan terracotta on the end of that. Of course, for our, it's that part down there. It's the part of the fin structure that holds up the propulsion apparatus. All right, back here at the front, We can see we've got a little bit of glass coming into view now. I think, did we have any? No. Our first little bit of glass there at the front for the Cyclops. And we've stopped stacking up chests, but there is room for another layer of chests there if you want to. I didn't include too many because at a certain point after you add too many chests in one spot it can become laggy, so I didn't want to push it. All right, the detailing for the sea moth and the cargo hold. Detailing for the top ceiling almost of the machinery compartment. And then here for the catwalk at the back. And then for the stern going all the way back there. And that's just going to be 2 blocks tall. All right, next phase. A little bit more glass here at the front. And then we're putting on the ceiling of this chamber, so we're doing that with just some yellow concrete and some glass panes there. And some full blocks of light blue stained glass. The best kind of stained glass, I think. I think we're almost done with the sea moth. If we lower down a bit, we can kind of see we have a suggestion of a sea moth in there. In fact, I think we have finished with the sea moth, and now we're building the connection between that and how we would get down into the sea moth. All right, and cap off the engineering compartment with, the machinery room with cyan terracotta. And then the rest of the catwalk here that goes up to the engineering compartment. And then we've got a couple blocks of air gap here. 2, 3, 6 blocks. Right there. And then cyan terracotta here at the back. All right. Next phase, this is the floor of the bridge deck that we're up to now. We've got our little hatch there that leads from the cargo area. And then back here we've got the floor for our sleeping chambers. And then we're just about done building the cargo compartment. Then we've got the aft floor here. And then this bulkhead divider there, and then the floor of the engineering compartment here. And then we do have 2 ladders here at the back, because that seemed to be how the Cyclops is laid out when I was looking at it in the reference picture. So put those there. Did try to get everything as close as I could. Only made a few changes. And then moving aft, of course, we have a bit of glass and cyan terracotta back here for the propulsion apparatus. All right, here for the bridge deck, of course, we have all this yellow concrete to serve as the consoles to put our controls on. Right there. Of course, we do have the quartz stairs for some seats. And then back here we have quite a lot of white concrete. And then a whole bunch of glass to cap off the cargo chamber down there. So when it floods to let out the sea moth, of course, our submarine doesn't flood. Of course, if you left that hatch open, it probably would flood. We do have, let me zoom in a little bit. We do have the quartz stairs here. In fact, let me lower down. We do have the quartz stairs. We have the quartz slabs here. We have the upside down stairs here around the bed and everything. And then just a couple of stairs here to represent some chairs. You know, Minecraft. I mean, that's as good as we're going to get for a chair. So we have to make do. All right, here we have, of course, our power core and the drive systems for the sub. And then it just tapers off towards the back. And of course, we have our propulsion system here at the back. All right, next phase. We can see that we're just putting down a bunch of random redstone components to simulate controls for various things here on the bridge. Let's take a closer look at that. Maybe a little too hard to see from altitude. Like so, they're the same on both sides. This sub is symmetrical, so once you build on one side, you just mirror image that on the other side. And the detailing on the sides here for the niches, for the chest and everything. You can see there is a little bit more space if you wanted to fit 2-block deep chests or something. Or maybe make a slightly bigger alcove for something else. There is a little bit of space you can tease out to do that. All right, here at the aft section, let me just zoom in on this a little bit. For, of course, our power core, where you can put down your end crystal there somewhere. Be very careful with the end crystal, you know. Your power core explodes, it'll make a big hole in your sub, so we don't want that. A quick detailing there for the drive system. And then moving aft for the propulsion apparatus. All right, next phase. More for the bridge here, mostly building up the walls and everything. Let me get to the right height for that. A lot of concrete on this phase there. You can see just how much space you have to work with if you want to make the chambers just a little bit bigger than what I've prescribed here. And the detail back here for the engineering compartment. Lower down, take a side view of this. Some of the end rods might be a little too hard to see. And then, of course, we just have the obsidian extending straight back from there to represent, of course, the propeller shaft. Then we have, just goes all the way back here to the turbine. I've always thought that the Cyclops could be retrofit, because we do have space on either side to put in one of those magneto-hydrodynamic systems. It's the Caterpillar drive from Red October is what that is. Oh well, maybe maybe if we ever see the Cyclops again, it'll be upgraded with one of those. Maybe it'd be pretty neat, I think. It could be powered by jets of water. A whole lot of white concrete and cyan terracotta on this phase. A couple of glass panes here and there. A couple of blocks of concrete of yellow and orange, and that's about it. Well, some end rods. Lower down here, take a look. Engineering section. Okay, let's back up and take a side view along here in case some of it was a little too hard to see from altitude. Take a quick glance at that. And then back along here for the aft section. Just like so, and we'll go on to the next phase. So I think for the rest of it, we'll take the top-down view first, and then I'll take the oblique view on the way back. All right. Here we are at the stern, so let's lower down and take more of an oblique view and head back the other way. All right, next phase, same deal. We'll slide over it and then slide back over it again. I like to put glass panes in front or in proximity to the lanterns for the lighting strips when I can. It makes it look a little bit more interesting than having just a flat run of blocks. It adds a little bit of interesting detail to it without adding a whole bunch of without adding too much detail. Because it is kind of a futuristic thing, so you want to maintain the sleekness. Well, you know, Minecraft. As sleek as we can get when we only have blocks to make it out of. That's why the Cyclops here, you might notice, is slightly larger scale than it would be to the one in Subnautica compared to the size of the Minecraft character. And that was done intentionally because I thought it was necessary to scale things up just a little bit to tease out the right amount of detail. Of course, you can always get more detail in things in Minecraft by going bigger, but there is also a point of diminishing returns when you do that also. You can build things entirely too big in Minecraft to be useful. We do want to make things as close to in scale as we can with the Minecraft character. You know, 2 blocks tall, but we also want to have some detail as well. So, you know, it's one of those balancing act type things. And then a whole bunch of white concrete here. Just straight across there, and then a whole bunch of cyan terracotta there. And then just a little bit back here for the fins at the back. All right, next phase. We're in the home stretch now. I can see the conning tower down there. So we are sealing off the bridge module, the bridge deck, with the cyan terracotta and the concrete and the glass. We're going to have some lights above this, though. A couple of lights there on the top of our sleeping quarters. And here's, of course, the ladder that's going to go up to our conning tower. And, is this a missing block of glass? Sure looks like it. Well, there's, at least one extra block of glass here. I'll try and remember to add that to the materials list. Looks like I missed one. Like I said, the glass can be hard to see. It looks like I missed one. And then a whole bunch of white concrete there. Bit of cyan terracotta with a line of white concrete extending down that away, connecting to the back here. So let's slide back over that with the oblique view. I mean, this is pretty easy. We probably don't need the oblique view anymore. And we'll go on here to the next phase, where we definitely don't need the oblique view because we're just throwing down a whole bunch of white concrete, some sea lanterns, some yellow concrete, some cyan terracotta, just like so. Just straight runs of those for however many blocks that is. And just straight runs across the back till we get to the back here. And then just a straight run here all the way across until we get all the way back here for that last, so is that going to be 7 blocks of cyan terracotta? Just like so. And then we can go on to the next phase. So here, a bit of white concrete over the bridge. A couple of sea lanterns here. Here we have now the deck for the conning tower with the obsidian. Our access ladder. The aft deck of the conning tower. Like so, and I think that's all there is. We finished the back section here, so everything from here on back is now finished. And if memory serves, this section should be just at the water line. Right here. So the next section, of course, with the yellow concrete is going to be just above the water line. Just like so. Start off with a bit of, you can start actually here with over the sea lanterns that we placed. And put in your obsidian and then a bit of white concrete in front of that. And then your yellow concrete and cyan terracotta behind that. Alright, and that's all there is to that phase. Although, I think you ought to be able to use what we previously placed to figure out where to finish the yellow concrete out right there. I don't think I need to count that. So back here, next phase, of course, we got a bit of cyan terracotta and a bit of glass. Just like so. 3 and 6 blocks. Yep. 4. Right there, and that's all there is for this phase for the conning tower. We're almost done. So back here, a bit more cyan terracotta. Over the top of your glass. And then we just want to do straight runs of that, just right on top of everything, till we get back here where we're just setting off, rather setting back by 1 block right there. And then a couple of details for the interior. That's mostly just for lighting, though. You may find it necessary to put a bit more lighting around this area, though, depending. So here, next phase for the conning tower, a bit of white concrete. Right there, a couple of sea lanterns. Just like so, and of course you've been extending up your ladder this whole time. Next phase after that, we're putting on the top of our hatch. Our top hatch on our conning tower, remember that we added. There's not one of these in Subnautica. There should be, but there's not. And then on top of that, of course, just white concrete right there. All right, next phase, you can put an additional block of yellow concrete here if you want to. And, oh, that didn't happen. You did not see that. But you just want to put the white concrete here with these sea lanterns. It's like so. And then we'll go on to the next phase here. I don't remember why those sea lanterns were there. Oh, it's probably for lighting. Some hidden lighting. So here, of course, we have the details for our conning tower, for like our communications array and our periscope and everything. Right here, simple details, glass, cyan, terracotta, and then just 2 blocks of white concrete there. 2 more again. 1 block here, and then cyan terracotta on the left. White concrete, sea lantern. Cyan terracotta, yellow concrete. Sea lantern. And then yellow concrete here. And once you have done that and placed your final little block, your Cyclops submarine will be complete.